Welcome everyone to the podcast. You heard it here. Eventually, this is our second time recording this because my mic messed up.
His first intro was better too. I laughed about it.
It was. You should have heard it. It was glorious. And now
We'll save it for next week.
It's gone in the ether. Yeah, I don't remember what we did, so we'll just jump right into boom, big
Well,
titty.
you complained about your shirt being exactly the same.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt on accident. It wasn't for real. This wasn't planned. It was just an accident.
And I was gonna do it on purpose because I thought it'd be funny, but I decided not to. So,
but yeah, so just jumping right into it. Big titty, One Piece Odyssey. We both got it right next to our desk. Boom, boom. And my limited edition copy shipped, so I got 2 copies. Beat that.
Yeah, there you go. I only got one, but I got it for $10 off because I got a $10 Target gift card for buying it at Target.
There you go. I got it from
hashtag sponsorship Target.
Wait, I just realized, wasn't GameStop's pre-order the steel case?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I just realized that.
Wow, they didn't give it to you.
They also
probably a shady. You know what? I mean, I used to work there, so I could give you some shady insider knowledge. I should.
So what did they do? Did they just keep them all?
If someone there wants it, they could, because it's while supplies last.
I was the first person to pick up the game for PS5.
Yeah, they could have legitimately forgot, but if they got like 2 steel cases in because they only got 2 reserves and 2 employees wanted them because they look cool, they could just be like, "Oh yeah, we ran out." Or if you don't bring it up, they won't give it to you.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times people just forget because they're like off in the back or like they're in like a separate drawer from the game itself and they just forget to give it to you.
They scared the shit out of me because they opened the drawer and there was only PS4 games and she was like, "Inventory says we have -2 PS5 games." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So then she went
That must mean how that must be how reserves work.
Well, she went to the back and then she was like, "We got the box for PS5. No one opened it, so we never took inventory for it."
Hilarious. Yeah.
So I got the first copy. I played it for about 9 hours day one, I think. 8-9 hours. It's fun. I definitely think it's not perfect, but just like Yakuza Like a Dragon, it's their first turn-based JRPG. We need to give them a game to work out the kinks. Next game I'll be more harsh. Overall, it's fun.
Well, it's not Bandai Namco's first one.
Yeah.
You think it's just this dev team's first one?
Yeah, potentially. Like,
yeah, I don't know what dev teams. I mean, they must have tons of different dev teams at Bandai Namco. They release so many goddamn games.
Yeah.
So,
like I think for one, way too easy. Way too easy. It insane.
Seems like it.
Like literally, there's it's basically Pokemon. If you only had 3 types in Pokemon, there's power, speed, and technique. If you're using the super effective type against an enemy and it's a normal enemy and not a boss, you're probably gonna one shot it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think
I'm hoping that it increases because I mean you're only on. Well, did you beat chapter 2? No, yet.
Alabasta is entirely chapter 2, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that like maybe the first real chapter, which seems to be like Alabasta, is just the real entry point, and then maybe it ramps up in difficulty.
Yeah.
I haven't read any of the reviews on it, so I don't know if that's
that was one of the. I saw IGN's. They gave it a 7, and they said one of the things was difficulty.
Yeah.
I think another con is it's just too long. Sorry, I just had a fucking heart attack. It's too long. Like, I'm in chapter 2, and I played for 8 hours. I was probably in Alabasta itself for 4 to 5 of those hours.
Yeah.
And
you're still there.
Yeah, I'm not done. I don't even know how close I am to being done. So if they follow the story, I'm getting to Rain Base, which means I need to be captured by Crocodile, put into that Sea Stone jail cell, and then you get kicked out of Rain Base, go back to the desert, come back to the capital, and then fight him.
And I saw a little bit of it, so I bought it, but I haven't played it yet. I'm planning either my first stream is going to be today for it, or tomorrow all day because I'm off for Martin Luther King Day. This is Sunday while we're recording it, by the way. And now I just lost my train of thought. Why did I just say that?
You said I was talking about the anime's path, and then
I saw a piece where they said since X person has no memories here, they won't show up. So you don't have Frankie at all, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how that works because
He's
I
on the
don't.
ship now
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
but there is places to be built by Frankie. Like he's just not a party member right now. He wasn't a party member
So
in the like. I had a dungeon in the actual island, and then I have this place, and there's places for Frankie to build bridges on both locations. So he
yeah.
comes to Alabasta later.
Well, for the main area, obviously you can probably explore for the main island. For
Yeah.
Alabasta, what I would imagine it's almost probably like Lego, the game that we've had on pause for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Where you can go back much later, and maybe like since they do the weird memory cube thing, maybe it's like he gets hit by a memory of someone else, and all of a sudden, bam! I remember Alabasta. Hey guys, I can go build some bridges there in my hulking form that never would have existed in Alabasta.
But also, like Robin wasn't with them, so she wouldn't have those.
But she was there.
memories.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
but,
That's what I was also about to say. Do you have Robin as a playable
Yeah,
party member, or is
yeah.
she not? Is she like? It'd be fun. It'd be so much more awesome. I'll say this right now: if her memories were as the enemy, and so she like had this weird fuzzy thing where she ended up becoming an enemy, like she was an antagonist of that chapter.
Yeah.
You can
That
only
sounds
really
like
do it in
something Persona
Alabasta,
would do.
but
And this is someone came into my stream. They called it One Piece-ona. And
you know
that's a
they could do that with
title.
Frankie too for Water 7. So
Yeah.
they should have done that. And then I don't know, since Jinbei is not on the
He's not in the roster at all.
Since he's not in the roster, they can't really do anything with him. I mean, he's never an enemy really, but they could have had him in Impel Down, like, and maybe given you extra memories with Ace or something.
Yeah.
Since he was there, and we never really get to see much of their conversation other than Ace saying, "Yeah, I really love Luffy. He's awesome."
Yeah. And then I had a third con, and now I can't forget it, or now I can't remember it. It'll come to me.
Was it about any of the new characters? I don't know. I haven't
Mm,
seen much about them. I know the guy has the grab, and then the other one isn't really supposed to be a devil fruit, but like, there's no fucking way.
She says it's part of her bloodline is her powers for
Because
the memories.
Naruto entered into the fray here.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's my Kekkei Genkai.
Yeah, I don't remember what the fuck I was gonna say now.
Well, we can just move on.
Yeah.
So it's both of our big titties of the week, by the way. I don't even remember if we actually said that, but we both share it because One Piece Odyssey came out.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to it since they announced it, really. I mean, I think we both kind of expected it not to be the best game to release in this generation.
Yeah, by far.
So it's fine. We're just One Piece fans. I really hope that they, at some point, I really feel like they would have the technology to do it this generation. I do. I don't know what the limiting factor would be. But you know how the South Park games were really praised because it looked like you were playing the TV show?
Yeah. I
really wish that they could somehow bring the video game like graphical fidelity up to the anime quality. I mean, it's animation.
Yeah. That'd be so
on a
cool.
PS5 especially even if you're not talking Wano arc, like this generation, this like current anime, like every episode that's released, you're talking about like maybe like four years ago or something. It'd still be so much cooler to look like that instead of this weird, like, a lot of anime games end up doing this like weird cell shaded thing, or they have like exaggerated borders on the characters to let you know it's like animation or like from a series like that.
In terms of cell shaded, I definitely prefer Kakarot to this. I don't hate this style of how it looks, but I think some scenes of Kakarot look better than the anime.
I think some of the old Naruto games looked more like anime fidelity accurate than like this game does, which is a little bit of my biggest disappointment just from the looks of it right now.
And then one thing I did, so I've been basically I mentioned it a second ago, but these last 2 days I did super long streams for me. It's not super long streams for everyone. But I played One Piece Odyssey all day yesterday, or 2 days ago, and then I played Elden Ring all day yesterday. One thing that you should do that I did yesterday, fuck the BRB screen, put the podcast up. It's promo, and it's not just a blank screen.
Yeah.
And then
that is a good one.
And then because you'll never be gone, like, well, you'll never be gone for the whole time. So then you pause it in the middle, boom. People want to figure out what we talked about next. Gotta go listen.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. I would probably I'd have to like make a custom one where it had BRB somewhere on it.
Yeah, I put text like right up there because then literally the text was there, and someone came in my stream and was like, "Wow, we pivoted to live podcast recording," and then someone else in my stream was like, "Yeah, it's live." Well, they knew I was BRB. They were there.
Yeah. Well, some people like to mess with other people. Who was it?
It was
Name names.
Josh asked, and then Blue debated him.
Damn, that doesn't really seem like Blue. At least not with Josh. I feel like most people wouldn't
Yeah,
be messing with Josh too much.
Blue's a deviant.
Yeah.
And then the
That
other
is a good
thing,
idea, though. I didn't even think of that. I
yeah,
mean,
I
you've
know.
always had that one video of
I know
your friend
Ben
reviewing the underpants or whatever,
he
which
did
is always funny.
MeUndies.
But I guess yeah, it's time to change. And then you can just keep changing it, like
Yeah.
to the most recent release of the podcast or something.
And then I want to call back to when I started playing Elden Ring, and I said I will definitively be the answer for whether it deserved Game of the Year or not. I'm not done, but I'm pretty close to the end, I think. I beat like 5 out of I don't even know how many of the shard bearers. Um, and then I don't know how much I have left, but I think I'm getting close. My definitive answer is I can see definitely how it got a nominee. 100%. And I could see maybe how it won. But if I was the commission deciding shit, it wouldn't be my winner.
Yeah. God of War would win over it.
Yeah. Cuz I just think like there's some shit in this game. I get it's a Souls game. It's fucking bullshit. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't know what the fuck's going on in the lore. I'm doing all these quests cuz I'm looking at a guide and I can't follow it. Like
Yeah. And you're listening to the dialogue too.
yeah. I'm not
To
even
your
just
credit,
skipping
you're
over
listening
it.
to the dialogue.
And it's like it's just so confusing. Why am I trying to be what's the Erd tree? What's the Elden Lord? Why am I trying to be him? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, there's never really, as far as I can recall from just some of the stuff I've seen, you never really have character motivation, which I think
Yeah.
is a big fault in the game. I mean, the game has a story, but they don't push you. In this one, I would have expected better, mostly because they said they were going to put a heavier emphasis on the lore
Yeah.
compared to all their other games. And I guess they do. The world is built out as totally new. They're not building upon like Dark Souls, like, yeah, it's 1,000. Dark Souls 2 is 2,000 years, 5,000 years in the future or whatever. So
Yeah.
everything's different, but base world is the same, all that other stuff. I don't know. It's a disappointment to me whenever there's a game that doesn't really allow you an easier way to access the lore, I guess. I mean, even going to like Horizon, it's a ton of text. It's a ton of like voice, voice, like play, whatever. I don't know. They're called data points. It's a ton of that stuff. They're just scattered throughout the world. You'd have to find them to realize them, but they're all like bite sized. That you get enough extra lore from some of these things, and you can kind of extrapolate just from seeing the rest of the world and stuff. It's easier to understand the world and how it came to be, I guess, is where I'm going with that one. Even with just a little bit sprinklings of lore.
One of the things that pisses me off about Horizon, and I'm sure the sequel didn't fix this. If I'm listening to a goddamn data point, put an invisible wall when she's gonna interrupt it because I've moved too far to the story and she's gonna have her own voice line. Because I fucking hate standing still. I don't want to stand still while I listen to this goddamn data point, but I also don't want to skip the data point. But if like
I'm pretty sure they fixed that.
They do?
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember ever having to stand still while I listen to like a 2-minute data point. There are some collectibles in this one where you can't even no, you can. Yeah, no, I think that no matter how far away you move, it starts playing. She might talk over them like briefly, but I don't think it's a big deal. Like the dialogue on the bottom, the subtitles, if you have them on, will stick to the data point.
Okay. Because I remember in the first one, I'd be listening to a data point and all of a sudden, Aloy, I'm just walking. She's like, well, how old is this place? A one line that interrupts the data point entirely, and I don't care enough to go back. And then it just
it definitely, if she does talk, it definitely doesn't stop the data point from playing.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But you can also access all of them from the menu too if you were concerned about it. Like you just want to listen to it. But I mean, if you want to get stuff done while the data point's playing, I don't think that it stops you.
Good. And then going back to Elden Ring, I just think like I genuinely think I am decent at this game. And like there are some normal enemies, not even bosses, that are just like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like how are some normal enemies harder than bosses? It doesn't make sense to me. He holds an Elden Ring shard. He should be the toughest of the toughest, and I beat him in 4 tries.
Yeah, you can't really imagine. So you can't really imagine yourself or any of these bosses struggling against these normal enemies, right?
Yeah.
But
Because
you
like, how
do,
would they have gotten
and
in
you kick
power?
the boss's
Yeah.
ass. Yeah.
And then like I just beat Morgoth in Lyondell Royal Capital, and I'm mad because there was a summon outside where you can summon what's her face, the girl who is at the every site of grace with you, the maidenless girl, Melina
Marika?
Melina.
Marika?
No,
No.
Melina.
Oh,
I don't know how to
okay.
pronounce it. And you could summon her for the fight. And I tried it like 3 times, got him low, super low. And I was like, I can do this. And I noticed the summon sign, so I summoned her. I was like, if I got him down to like a couple hits without her, I'll for sure get it this time. Little did I know that it decreases the amount of runes you get by 30,000. No warning, no nothing. Like, why would it warn you? But
Yeah.
also, like, why would it affect it? Because I feel like stuff doesn't affect it that much like that.
Yeah, there's random things in the game that are not explained. I understand for Souls-like games, they're part of the experience is not knowing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember the name of the guy that's the director, but I know heavy inspiration for Demon Souls, which is the first one that became really popular. I guess Dark Souls was actually the one that became really popular, but Demon Souls was the first like real like advanced kind of game that was like
Yeah.
this. And everyone was like, "Oh, in a time when games are getting easier and easier, we have one that's old school." I know a lot of the old school games were the inspiration. So like the original Legend of Zelda, you didn't know what the fuck was going on. There was
Yeah.
nowhere to find it. Like maybe some random NPC gave you some tidbit of knowledge that would help you figure out what's going on. But unless you subscribed to Nintendo Power back in the day, you didn't get any of these hints. You didn't know any of these things. There was no tooltip in the game that said, "Hey, if you try to burn every single tree in the world, eventually some of them will lead underground and you can buy things."
Yeah.
So he took some inspiration from that, but I think it's a little bit too extreme because, for the example, when you go to the castle and when you get your runes back, it's 50%. There's a 50% tax. No one tells you that. You just have
Yeah.
to realize it and then you have to go, what the fuck is wrong with the game? It's broken. Then you have to look it up online. And then someone who is a huge like Souls nerd
And it's
just
literally
explains
only
it in
there.
detail.
It's only there, and it never happens again, as far as I can tell. And it's like,
Yeah. But
what
I
is
mean, then
this?
something like this happens, which is
Yeah.
similar. You use the summon. Normally, what the summon does, from just knowledge of the games, is it makes the bosses harder. Like
Yeah.
it gives them extra health. I don't think they get any extra attacks, but it gives them extra health and maybe extra defense or something, maybe a stat boost. But you have a summon. You have like a huge badass. I'm thinking about in Dark Souls 1, Voltaire or Soltaire.
Yeah.
He's literally doing the attacks of the main guy. He's a disciple of the king dude who's launching Zeus thunderbolts at these enemies. So of course you would take that over them having 50% health
Yeah.
compared when you're fighting with them. And they aggro the boss and stuff. There's
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
the
benefits
biggest
to
thing.
them.
Like,
But I've never heard of them taking some of the,
yeah.
especially that much. Was that 50%? Did you get 30,000 or did you get
No,
even less than 30,000?
so I was supposed to get 120,000. If I did it without her, I got 90,000. So it took a fourth of them away. It's like
I mean, it's
fine,
better than
but
I would have expected actually
yeah.
from the game. But still, that's a lot. That's probably a whole level
Eh,
that it robs from you.
not where I was, but yeah. I probably could have gotten 2 levels if it didn't happen.
Mm.
Um, but there was something else. Hang on. It was the same thing with One Piece. I forgot the last thing. Um,
Well, you were talking about earlier. You said some people that even love Elden Ring
oh yeah.
agreed with you.
Like there's some people in my chat who love Elden Ring, have been guiding me through it, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't think this should have won Game of the Year," and that surprised me because I thought like, yeah, we're not gonna think it's Game of the Year because we're more story based. We love God of War,
Sony fanboys
yeah,
kind
but
of thing. Yeah.
I thought that people like who were sucking off Souls like games were like, "Fuck yeah, this game's awesome." Uh, let this win Game of the Year, and I thought that's why it won because there was such a like a cry out from that community that it should have won. But no, they were like, this game is unfinished. There's too much useless dialogue that I don't care about. Quests I don't care about. Bosses are too easy. And yeah, so I was
Yeah,
very surprised to hear
people,
that.
hardcore fans of this series really shit on the fact that you can do these summons in the
Yeah.
fights. They hate it. I don't understand
Also,
it. It's a mechanic of the game. The game has evolved. Just deal with it.
I summon my mimic for every fight, which is like a summon that you can summon pretty much in any boss really. And it's different from like the summons that are on the ground. It literally becomes an
Yeah, these
extra
use
you.
magic.
Yeah.
These use these
Well,
types of summons use
the
magic
the mimic takes like a big chunk of health to summon.
instead of
But
magic. Yeah,
yeah.
right.
But yeah, it literally is like this blob. It turns into another you. It has your exact same equipment, a little less health, I'm pretty sure, but it can like
It can use your same moves
yeah,
though. It can use your magic.
yeah. So like if I have bloody slash on on my sword, which is just like big blood damage and it procs bleed quicker. She can just spam that. So she's spamming that, getting his bleed up and up and up. I hit him once, he bleeds. She can also proc the bleed if she's hitting him. So
Yeah. Well, I
it's
wonder. So a lot of things that I saw were saying that magic is finally viable
yeah.
as a main thing. I wonder if this mimic thing is a big part of that. Unlimited mana and you're a magic wielder and all you
Yeah.
have equipped are badass spells. She's probably launching like Kamehamehas and the special beam cannons and all whatever other big moves they got, like
Mhm.
Getsuga Tenshos. Think of any anime move from a fantasy anime that you think would be magic based in a world like this. She's probably using it, or
Yep.
your mimic is probably using them, just spamming them
Yeah.
nonstop. So I bet that's a big reason why it's possible.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing more and more like near the end game of the guide, it's like we recommend using magic for this boss. I don't have magic. I'm building out a samurai, so I can't do that, but it's cool that because I know in Dark Souls 1 it kind of sucks, at least for your first run.
In Dark Souls 1, it's supposed to be viable, but it definitely is not beginner friendly. I mean,
Yeah.
Dark Souls itself isn't beginner friendly, but let's face it, there are builds that are better for beginners when you
Yeah.
have never played in the world before, which melee is definitely a part of it, especially because the final boss you can just do the fucking
You just parry him
counter
3 times
against. You
and
just parry him and
you're
kill him.
GG'd.
Maybe it's really good against Manus or something. Who knows? Like,
Man, this is fucking
um,
crazy.
but in this one, it seems like it's viable as a entry as his first run, first build character
Yeah.
because the moves I've seen people play the game, the moves that they give you are insane. They're like Meteor from Final Fantasy. Like, think of every ultimate spell from every game possible, and there's probably a version of it in Elden Ring, and you can use it as a magic wielder.
Literally Getsuga Tensho, if you get the Moonveil sword, it's the default Ash of War. And you just like
Yeah,
put out a
and
beam in front of you.
yeah, and when you fought the Mimic, I watched you fight the Mimic, and she used it against you because you
Yeah.
fight yourself first, basically like Dark Link
Mhm.
to get that
And I
summon,
was just
and
I
she
was
used it,
just
and you were like,
socked.
"How far is this thing going?" You were like, and it almost killed you in one
Yeah.
shot. So you were impressed by your own stats.
Yeah, apparently for the mimic fight, you can literally derobe all your equipment and then put it like summon the mimic, put it back on, and just like one shot her.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to cheese different bosses
I think I have found
in the game.
my Manus in Elden Ring, and that is the gargoyles. I beat that, and I thought I was having a heart attack. Like my heart
Mhm.
rate was just it was pumping, and
And they're optional.
yeah, they're optional. I didn't even need to go there.
If you ever go black. If you ever go back to to blood, you ever go back to Bloodborne. I actually just watched a video today, like game ranks. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're on Facebook, and
Mhm.
it's like top 10, whatever. There's like a new video every day. I watch it all the time whenever I'm taking a shit. Uh, Today it was hardest mini bosses in games, and number two, it's not even really a mini boss. They don't get their own health bar, but in Bloodborne, there's this just random enemy, and the guy who's the narrator of the video said, it's no wonder that a lot of guides of this game recommend you run in, get all the items, and then sprint out without ever trying to fight these two. But it's basically they summon it's two what you would quote unquote normal enemies,
Mhm.
but they're like unbeatable
That's
from the
crazy.
videos that they were showing. I really hope that you end up playing that again and fighting those two.
Yeah, that was the first Souls game I ever tried, and then it was before I started stream or no, I streamed for my PS4 like one time for that game.
I remember
And
this actually. You were
yeah,
very confused. You didn't know where to go. The first enemies that you see in the whole game are these hulking monstrosities that you're
yep.
trying to sneak around. Yeah.
And yeah, I never went back to it. I probably would one day, especially I mean, realistically, if someone redeems it, that's the way I play it. Because I probably wouldn't play it myself.
I know I
But
borderline want to do it. I borderline want to do it, but I've already done a Souls game, Sekiro. I got you started on this whole train of Souls games, and I don't want to add
listen,
to
I mean,
the pain.
Sekiro is like it's so good. Like that is a Souls game I genuinely enjoy, and I've gone back to on my Steam Deck. Fuck Dark Souls 1. I'll never go back to that. Fuck Elden Ring. I mean, I might go back to Elden Ring. Because listen, that's the other thing. There's such cool weapons in this game. None are katanas.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw you wielding something besides the Moonveil. Actually,
Yeah, it was because Moonveil's uh scales off of dex and intelligence. So I respect my character to do that. And then I went back to just dex for a dex weapon because I'm using the Blood Naga Kiba now. Which is it's proc and bleed much faster, which I enjoy because bleed is just stupid big damage. And with the mimic, it's very helpful because she's just taking. That's the thing about the mimic though is she's low key kind of stupid. Like the boss will do poison and she'll just stand in the poison because she doesn't know to get out of it.
so this is another gargoyle comment.
Yeah,
It was mostly seen during gargoyles. It
yeah.
was hilarious.
It happens other places, but also poison's so stupid in this game. I don't think this happened in Dark Souls. I don't think. I could be wrong. When you get poisoned in Dark Souls, do you take damage while you're getting poisoned? I don't think so. I think it's the poison. Once the bar fills, you start taking damage, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
in
you
this
can
game,
walk through the poison swamps and stuff, and you're not
exactly.
taking
Yeah, yeah,
damage
yeah.
until you get fully poisoned. Yeah.
This game, as every tick that the bar goes up, you take a big chunk of health also. So the bar's going up, you're going down, and then you get poisoned and you start actually losing health.
I mean, if people are really upset that the game is easier, maybe that was some sort of counterbalance point. I wonder, and again, since neither of us really played it or know that much about the mechanics, we know they tweak the game over time. Maybe that wasn't what it was like at first. Maybe it was
Yeah.
exactly like Dark Souls, and people complained that the game was too easy, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we can make that. We can add this in,
Yeah.
make a couple of fights a lot harder than you would ever want them to
Yeah.
be."
Oh, and then the last thing that I just remembered I was gonna say earlier. This one's gonna hurt you. I think one of the worst part of the games and one of the worst bosses is the dragons. They're so lazy. Every dragon is the
Mm,
same thing, or there's like
it's
two
gonna hurt
variants.
me.
There's two variants of dragons. One does not have lightning that shoots from the sky, and one does. Besides that, every single one, if it's type A or type B, they all have the same moveset. It's just different types. So, like at the end of the stream yesterday, I fought a frost dragon. Wow, that was the exact same moveset as
Mm.
the one that you saw, the like crystally one. That one stream. And it's the same moveset, just it's frost now instead of fire. And then I fought one that was it's scarlet rot instead of fire. Wow. And they just have increased health because of their further points of the game, and they have a different effectiveness. And it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we doing here? There's 5 of the same boss. Why? It's just
It's funny because
lazy.
the game is a lot of people praise the game for having just unique enemies all over the place,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden this one enemy type is and they're supposed to be really tough
Yeah.
bosses. There's no game where the dev is like dragons, those are the easiest ones, you know. I mean,
Exactly.
look at Pokemon. You couldn't even get dragon type Pokemon until the end of the game until they released fairy type in generation like 7.
Yeah.
Like
And ice.
they were always supposed to be tough.
Oh, and then last thing, I forgot, this is what I forgot to tell you. I broke my controller yesterday. I fixed it, but I broke
It's
it.
only been a matter of time. You kept saying you're probably ended up breaking the controller. You keep punching the controller when you
So
get mad and
so
stuff.
what happened was I'm showing, so this is bad for people on Spotify, but go to the YouTube video. Um so when I get mad, my controller lays on my desk and I punch the shit out of the buttons, the triangle, square, circle, X button. I just start punching the shit out of it. And what happened is the R2 button jutted out because
Eh.
I punched it and then it came out. And then the R2 button couldn't go back in. And then because the R2 button couldn't go back in, the R1 button couldn't click. So I basically put it uh R2 button side down on my desk and I punched it again. And then it popped the R2 button back in and it started working since. So I hope it's good. My adaptive triggers might be broken. I'm not sure. This game doesn't have adaptive triggers.
Mm.
So I'll have to see next time I play One Piece because every time you gum rocket, you can feel it in the triggers.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you probably did break it, but I mean, it's not broken, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter as much. You don't need to replace it.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, I used to abuse my controllers. The game where I broke controllers was Mario Kart and
Really?
64 Mario Kart.
Wow.
Well, the rubber band effect is bullshit. I hate it. It's
That
so
is
stupid
true.
that that's how they make the game challenging. If I'm just that good at the game that the NPC, like the AI, can't keep up, then just let it happen. But the rubber band effect means that they can break the physics of the game to catch up and give you a challenge. I don't need that. If I'm that good, just make me be that good. Let me feel like I'm that good. No one's going to a Mario game and complaining that it's not difficult enough. It's not Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's true.
So I used to slam my controllers into the ground in my basement, which was a tile floor, and two different controllers, like the 3-prong controller. So I would be right. I'm a righty, so I slam it in while holding onto the right side of the controller where the C buttons are. So where the A, B, whatever stuff is. So I'm holding that end. So the C side, the left side of the controller, it slams in the ground, and two different ones, they popped open. One, it popped open so bad the C buttons never worked again. But the second one, my favorite controller, which was the clear plastic one where you could kind of see the inner workings for blue, that one just kind of popped open, but it stayed just closed enough. The only thing is it would be open, so if you squeeze, you got really intense and you squeeze, it would pinch your palm.
Oh,
so I'd pinch my left side, my left palm a lot because I would keep using that controller as my favorite one. But yeah, I used to do that. Now that the controllers are $70, I would probably punch my own wall instead.
We used to have a box TV, and I used to kick the shit out of the box TV when I would get mad at Kingdom Hearts. And I never broke it, thank God. I also used to take the cord of the PS2 controller, and I just started spinning the shit out of it to the point where like the plastic part would start breaking. You could see the wiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just have some anger.
Gotta let your frustration out somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works, you know. Slamming controllers. I knew I didn't know him, but I used to watch a lot of Call of Duty YouTube back in the day when it was Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2. And one of the guys from Sweden said that whenever he would get mad, he would just chuck the controllers out the window. But it became too much where he was losing too much money on controllers because they would just fall 4 stories and shatter on impact, obviously. So I think he didn't even go out and get them. I think he just abandoned them. I'm sure there's like a controller graveyard near his old apartment somewhere. He said that it became too cost ineffective, so now he has to calm himself down other ways. I forget what he did. He did something funny. Instead of throwing the controller out the window, I think he got some oversized doll, and he would just throw it across the room or start slamming his head into a desk or something. Forget what it was. But yeah, the controllers I probably would not mess with anymore.
I know.
Just because they're as expensive or more expensive than the games.
Yeah, games are 70 now. Controllers are 70 now, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know what the new Edge, the DualSense Edge, the new controller that Sony's releasing. I have no idea how much that is.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I guess we could move on to
how far in the episode are we?
We are.
I gotta start the timer whenever we start, so I just know.
33 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good place to break and talk.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what I wanted to talk about last week. Do you have other stuff that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I finished Tokyo Ghoul, so that's cool.
I started Black Clover. I'm on manga issue like 13 or something.
Nice.
I do like that one a lot. It's very busy. Very busy. Like the pages are really super busy, a lot of stuff going on, and all their reactions where it's like shock when Charmy is like shocked that Yami says something. They just show you that, like not just with their facial reaction, like different art style where they just look like dull and plain, which is in the manga the same way it is in the anime, which is cool. Like a lot of the characters I think say shock, but in this one it's just obviously an emotion that's happening. They're not saying it. It's just like shock. They're looking at Yami. Very busy, and the anime actually toned down the fan service from the manga.
Really?
The manga, like Vanessa and oh my god, why am I forgetting her name? Main girl, Silva girl. Noelle. Voluptuous as fuck. Like, I mean, this mangaka definitely took a page out of Oda's book and was like, the way that you draw women is you make their head and then you make their boobs the same size, basically. He just makes them more realistic with the physics. or like the way that they like mush and stuff. So the manga is actually more fan servicey, but that's the only comment I have so far. So far, it's very good. Is the anime was a very good adaptation, for sure. Basically 1-to-1. In fact, the anime added scenes, things that definitely happened off screen on the manga, off page, that they added just to add runtime, I guess, so that they didn't catch up too quickly. Because I don't know when the anime started versus when the manga, how far in the manga was and stuff.
But yeah, so I think my only complaint, and not even really a complaint with Tokyo Ghoul, is just like it. There's nothing was answered because they knew, or he knew he was gonna do a sequel series called Tokyo Ghoul Re. So I started that. I'm like on issue 4 of that. But so like
I can't believe the editor even allows that, because I mean the mangaka has the story, but there are other people on the team that basically overrule the mangaka.
There's
sometimes.
a big story event, which I can just say because you don't care. The main character basically gets amnesia, and he joins the team, the anti-ghoul team. Like he's part of the CCG, is the anti-ghoul people who go around killing ghouls. He gets amnesia because he like, this man gets like stabbed. There's an OP anti-ghoul person who's just like way too strong for his own good. He like stabs the main character through both of his eyes. Basically, you think, if you didn't know about Tokyo Ghoul Re, you end Tokyo Ghoul thinking the main character's dead. Basically, except for like one panel where you see him with amnesia, but he looks almost different to where you can't even tell it's him. And so he is basically dead. He gets thrown in this jail cell where he goes insane, and the person who bodied him like meets with him and befriends him while he's going insane. Doesn't have any more memories. He's like, you need a name. Gives him a new name, and then he joins the anti-ghoul people. But like it's a faction, it's a new faction where they give some ghoul powers to anti-ghoul people to deal with ghouls.
So he just assumes like that that's what they did to him.
Team. Yeah, I think.
He assumes that's what they did to him, even though he's just half ghoul or whatever. Yeah, so he has just
I haven't seen powers. I haven't seen him in the new series use his powers, but I assume that's what he thinks.
Okay, it's gonna be. So I guess like the resolution I can see happening from that is, as part of this new series, this guy powers up within that team, and then when he gets his memories back, he's like, wait, fuck you. And then he fights the OP guy again, and he wins because he's powered himself up. Obviously, when there's an OP person, they never power themselves up ever more than when you saw them OP. The main character is the only one that really gets upgrades, and obviously their friends.
The one time
One Piece might be an exception.
Oh, I was gonna say, a lot of the times Frieza is the exception also. Like that dude never trained, and then he trained for the first time in his life, got golden form, and now in the manga he has black form, which is even stronger than golden.
When we were talking about where I list what I'm going to start reading, I think Dragon Ball Super is actually on that list too, because there's so many things that I'm reading about that's happening in the manga that they haven't adapted for anime yet because they're on hiatus or.
It's just some of the differences annoy me. Like, why is there no chat? There's one panel for Broly. Such a cool movie. There's one panel saying, "Hey, he showed up. He's gone now."
Yeah. And I know there are things that are different in the Tournament of Power where it comes to like Vegeta. I know in the manga they show Vegeta achieving Super Saiyan God for Blue.
Yeah.
Like they show him actually achieving the forms that he's supposed to achieve in order.
And they also Goku Black doesn't go Rose, he just goes normal Super Saiyan. Or he
really
goes
they made it
Rose also, but he goes Super Saiyan first.
They made it a regular I never really understood. I mean, I guess the part of that is like he's using the word God. His own godhood is mixing in with the Super Saiyan abilities and stuff. But I never understood why they gave him a different form. I guess just to make him a unique, since he's a clone of Goku. Yeah. Like obviously, if they were in a fight and they weren't wearing different clothes, you wouldn't know who was who. It would be one of those classic tropes where, no, he's the Goku. No, I'm Goku. Yeah. No, I'm Goku.
It'd be the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. But One Piece is different mostly because the Marines are their own entity, and you could probably have a whole manga about the Marine side of One Piece.
Did you catch up? That's something that's happening now. That's I think that I'm more.
I caught up unless there was one that released yesterday. No. The last time I looked, it was like 8 days because of the New Year's break. They always have like a week off. So yeah, I'm totally caught up.
I think I'm more. We could just jump into One Piece then. I'm more excited for that whole rescue mission that's probably going to happen off screen because we never see fucking shit on the Marine side of things.
Garp.
Yeah,
Garp
Garp
basically
going to full
bodying
ahead or
Blackbeard.
whatever. Yeah. Well,
We've never ever seen Garp's actual full power. I don't think.
yeah,
I would love to see that, and I hope they do it in the anime. Even
yeah,
if they don't do it in the manga, I hope that somehow someone convinces Oda that he was an idiot and that they should be allowed to show it in the anime.
yeah.
Because everyone always talks about how even though he doesn't have a devil fruit,
He's
he
just
could become an admiral. Like
yeah.
he's an admiral level powerhouse in the Marines. He just chooses not to go admiral because he doesn't want to be as directly subservient to the celestial dragons.
I think
He
what
just
would be
does not
cool
like them enough.
is like not necessarily that he like betrays the Marines because I don't think he would do that, but like he one of the new admirals, maybe like the fucking plant guy, like gets
Tree,
on
yeah,
his
the tree guy.
trees, gets on his nerves or something, and like I just want to see Garp body him just to show us as viewers that he is as strong as an admiral and just chooses like
We
One
know
Punch
it wouldn't be
Man,
Fujitora. We know it
a
wouldn't be
my
Fujitora.
mask,
He would never get on Garp's bad side.
yeah. He's the my mask of One Piece. He stays vice admiral even though he
Yeah.
could very easily be admiral. And so I just like to
Yeah,
see
and
them prove that.
My mask could become S rank for sure, but I don't think that he would be number 1 S
Oh
rank.
god, no. He'd be
He'd
lower tier for
probably be
sure.
below Genos. He
Yeah.
might give Genos a run for his money. He could probably beat Angel Guy. Um, there's a couple he could probably beat, but I don't think that he would break like top 10
Yeah, no.
S rank. He seems to think that he would.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he would at all.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about OPM. So before we go too far down that road, I want to do One Piece first because it's
My biggest complaint about this fucking One Piece shit is that they brought a Lucci back.
my biggest. You know what? I have the same biggest complaint, and I just think not only is he back, but he's stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we can fight Luffy. I don't view Straw Hat as an emperor. You don't view him as an emperor. The Marines labeled him an emperor.
2, he bodied you in 1 hit. Like
yeah. He did, and he's winning that fight. He's winning the fight every step of the way. He's just not like Luffy. Clearly, is not taking it seriously because he does not view Lucci as someone who's like a Kaido level threat or anything.
Yeah.
He's just having fun with Lucci. Literally, and then Lucci's like, "Where's he getting all this power from, dude? He's Nika the sun god. He gets it from wherever the fuck he wants. He's literally making the whole world around him cartoonified.
Yeah.
And you're concerned about where he's getting his power from or like his force.
Also, like his awakening is just bad. It's just I don't. I in the manga, I don't even know what's different. Is he a slimmer leopard? Is he a taller leopard?
It does look like he got the Super Saiyan 2 treatment.
Yeah, like he has that
compared to the
aura around
Super
him,
Saiyan 1.5 treatment, where he was a hulking guy, and then he condensed his muscles, so he's just as strong, but he's also fast.
Yeah, and it's like,
but Luffy's
Gear
literally
5
coming out of the ground as a huge face eating him.
Yeah,
it's not. There's no comparison. It's not comparable, and I assumed what they're leading up to is that Vegapunk is about to explain why he can't copy Logia fruits, like what the difference is between all the 3 different types, why zone fruits are copyable, and why they're like the ideal fruit or something. Because everyone obviously would think Logia is the ideal fruit. They seemed, especially before the time skip, they seemed like they were the most OP things on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But now you get Haki basically counters all that shit, but then also these zone fruits get these awakenings that are just insane. But I've never even seen a Logia awakened, really. Have we? I don't think any of the admirals have said anything about it. You would think Kizaru would have an awakened light fruit, twinkle fruit. Sorry.
Yeah.
But his must be like fucking insane. I don't even know, because when you think about the way that the Japanese culture, I guess, or maybe like the mangaka view light, they're always super quick. They can like teleport however they want. Light is always an OP attribute.
Yeah.
So you would think Kizaru would basically be bodying everybody.
And maybe his is awakened. I don't know, but like, because it's like, is Luffy like, because he's not the first person ever to awaken his fruit, because we had freaking Joy Boy, we had freaking Doflamingo awaken his, we had freaking
well, Doflamingo's was Paramecia.
Yeah.
And we always thought Luffy's was Paramecia, but it's a zone.
Yeah.
So it is different now between the two of them.
Yeah.
But we've seen other awakened ones.
I feel like they need to be able to awaken just to like be an enemy or be a threat.
To Luffy now, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, and honestly, I'm so looking forward to this next part where they try to destroy
Oh yeah.
the Thousand Sunny, and then Zoro's just napping, and they wake him up, and he knocks away 2 attacks from CP0 at once, and then Giraffe Guy is like, Roronoa, like clearly shocked. You would also probably read that as afraid.
Oh yeah,
because he already lost to him once. Again, it's another enemy where he lost already to the guy he's about to fight.
He lost,
and the guy that he's about to fight, we know he's stronger now.
Yeah, and this dude has Conqueror's Haki now.
I am assuming that Zoro's going to win even faster than Luffy is because I think that Luffy's not winning against Lucci because he's not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Zoro does not have that weakness. Zoro takes every fight seriously. So I think Zoro's about to body 3 people on CP0 at once. Probably the Seraphim also. Like, I don't even know what the Seraphim are going to do. Also, the Seraphim thing is really weird for me.
It's weird.
Because, yeah, he like cloned a lot of them. He cloned a lot of them of the warlords. And then he also seems to have a king clone instead of just all the warlords. There is no warlord that had the wings. So he's done more than the 7 warlords, which Jinbei or whoever was commenting on it seems to assume it was just the 7 warlords. And he gave them devil fruit blood powers from people in Impel Down. So basically any enemy we've seen, they could have the blood running through. We won't know right away.
Yeah.
But they were going through the hierarchy. And Lucci was like, I got to take out Sentomaru because he's higher in the hierarchy. Number 1 on the hierarchy is Vegapunk.
Yeah, they'll still listen to him.
He's like above the 5 generals of the Navy.
Yeah.
So why would they not listen to him? As soon as he enters the fray and all Luffy has to do is bodyguard him, he just tells the Seraphim, hey, all of you focus on Lucci and behead him. Like, and I wonder who he called. I'm also interested to see who he called because in the most recent issue, Vegapunk's like, I need to call for backup.
And
all of his satellites are like, no, don't do it. And then he calls anyway. And we don't see who it is, but the guy's like, yeah, I've been waiting for your call. So here I am. And then the dome gets deactivated. There's so many weird things happening.
Did we see a silhouette or something? I don't remember. Did we just...
I feel like we see like the silhouette of a hand. I don't think we see the silhouette of a whole body.
It could be like Dragon. We know they have ties in the past.
That'd be fucking hilarious. If we finally get to see Dragon's Fruit and he actually just wrecks Kizaru, because we know Kizaru's on the way.
Yeah.
And he wrecks CP0. And I don't really understand how CP0 is supposed to rank up against Admirals. I think that Oda does need to go a little bit more into and maybe he's about to with the Marines, but I really feel like he needs to go a little bit more into the power scaling.
Maybe the Admirals show up and they're like, CP0, you're a bunch of dumb bitches. Body them instead of Luffy bodying him. The Admiral bodies like all of them, and that's how we get the hierarchy.
It would be funny if, let's say that Fujitora's on the way and like Zoro's bodying these other CP0 guys, and then Zoro's like, oh, an enemy worth my time, and he starts fighting Fujitora, and then they're just collateral damage. Like CP0 literally is just collateral damage for the fight between the 2 actual powerhouses.
Exactly.
I just don't like CP0. I don't like the concept of them. It doesn't make sense how Lucci would lose to Luffy and somehow then just next time we see him, he's head of CP0.
I think if you want to bring him back and like just show him somehow differently, you make him one of the 2 who went to Wano and just get like bodied by Kaido. Or have them fight, because it was one of the CP0 agents versus the gun dude from Whitebeard's crew. And then one of them fought someone else that I can't remember. But it's like, have him be one of them if you want to show him again. He has no business being fighting Luffy if you want to show him.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I think that once you lose in One Piece, because the Admirals never really lose to Luffy. Like, if a battle ends in a stalemate, fine, but Lucci lost.
Yeah.
He lost to Gear 3 non-perfected form. And I don't know, like, his fruit is just, it's more pure zone type. Clearly, Luffy's is a very unique, mythical, godly fruit.
Yeah.
Because it basically gives you 2 different powers. It gives you the zone type becoming Nika, but it also gives you the rubber body, which is like, it's a human fruit. It doesn't make any sense that it would become a rubber body, but he has godly powers. So it's a very unique fruit in the world of the devil fruits, and clearly Lucci's is not.
Yeah.
He's just going to have the same awakening as any other zone type. And then having Lucci with an awakened fruit really makes me think, like, what was Kaido's awakened? It must have been. But what was the difference between him being a huge dragon and then where was his awakened form? I don't get it.
Yeah. Or maybe his awakened form was like that half
mid-level.
man. Yeah.
Except every single zone type has that. don't they?
Yeah, that's true. That although for some reason the one that I remember the most is that ox dude from Chopper's Village. He showed like
Yeah.
all three. Yeah. So I don't know.
So I don't. Yeah. So I don't understand.
Also, what would be like Chopper's awakening?
It seems like his awakening really is
Or is it
monster
Monster
form,
Point? Yeah.
but that was like a Rumble Ball thing. I feel like maybe if he awakens, he can just access all those forms without Rumble Ball.
Yeah.
But that seems like kind of
Or
like a
what if he could like
cop out.
this wouldn't make sense. What if he truly became a monster and like could have like his arm be an arm point and his two back legs be in like a jump point and he could like mix and match his points?
That'd be a cool awakening for him.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool awakening. And
It would look like ugly as shit, like monstrous. He wouldn't be able to move, but it could be cool.
yeah, it would be like he'd be like Choji from
Yeah.
Naruto.
Or like he
Basically.
could like do it like super quick, which maybe he already can. I can't remember. But like
He can with the Rumble Ball now. He can switch between the points. I think that he can also use them like a little bit. The way that the Rumble Ball works is he can stop mid transformation. So
yeah.
there's normally 3 transformations, but he can stop. He can start transforming and then stop midway through, and it creates different
Yeah, that's how he got like
forms.
point guard or whatever guard point.
His guard
Yeah.
point, jump point, yeah, and monster point basically is that too. Monster point is he gets to the monstrified form of the zone fruits, like we saw as the guards of Impel Down, like the cow man who became this hulking like minotaur. They basically become minotaurs.
Yeah.
Lower half human or whatever, upper half hulking monstrosity of the animal. But they don't go insane, but they basically become catatonic and they just listen to commands or whatever.
Yeah.
So Monster Point is basically like the full version of that, but he still controls it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And since they're awakenings, they can be different from different types. So not every zone type needs to awaken the same way. Not every paramecia type needs to awaken the same way. So far, they've shown it like that, where the awakening of Moki Moki was the world can become Moki. You can turn anything into Moki. The awakening for the string for Doflamingo was you can make anything becomes strings for you.
Yeah.
So you can make a whole building into strings and use it as attack stuff. So he was taking that route so far, but it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. Clearly, Luffy's is unique. You can make any other zone type unique. We've never really seen another awakened zone type because we don't know if Kaido did it. Lucci's is some kind of bullshit, which I hope that he just gets bodied and is officially out as soon as we're done with Egghead Island.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Robin's, which is like the demon form thing might be her awakening. I can't tell.
Yeah. Zero.
It's hard to tell when something's awakened. It's hard to tell when something is in its awakened form.
Yeah.
Like maybe Vegapunk will just become a part of the crew and he'll just basically say, "Oh, that's the awakened form."
Yeah.
Oh, that's the awakened form.
I also think so Oda said he's after Wano, he's writing the biggest war ever in One Piece. Clearly it's not Egghead Island, but I think maybe what happens is we leave Egghead. I don't know where Egghead is in terms like of where Blackbeard's island is, but maybe somehow they end up there. Garp's going there. The admirals are chasing them, and maybe like they're chasing them as they're leaving Egghead, so they're there too. That could be the biggest war on full of lead, full of lead, whatever that place is called.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if Dragon is who was called, maybe if Egghead did call Dragon, you get the Revolutionary Army trying to get some revenge on Blackbeard too.
Yeah.
Maybe taking the opportunity for it. But I mean, there's still so much unanswered. Sabo.
Yeah. Where is he?
I don't know where he is, what happened. We assume he's still alive and he survived this meteor impact from Im or whatever we're led to believe. Dragon and Ivankov are somewhere. Where the fuck is Kuma going? He went to marry Hoas or something, it seems like, right? Yeah. Why? What the fuck is he doing?
I don't understand. We need a freaking crocodile to come back and meet Ivankov so we can learn what the fuck happened.
Yeah, and honestly, we need Mihawk to really see Zoro with Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah.
He might be like, now you're my worthy actual enemy. Yeah. So let's fight it out and see who's number one. And he's part of Luffy's crew, so he's gonna win probably. Yeah. We would assume.
And he has to win. He said he held his sword up after he lost and said, "I'm never gonna lose another fight." And to this day, except for like if you want to say like Kuma at the pre-time skip, I guess maybe you could say he lost that, but not really.
Yeah, and obviously I mean, it seems very implied that he means against the swordsman.
Yeah.
He always ends up fighting against the swordsman. Somehow he's fighting some random enemy. They always end up pulling out a sword somehow. Yeah. This fucking giraffe guy started using his legs as swords. I mean, there's always a swordsman somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Conqueror's Haki plus Odin's weapon, that's such a power boost.
Yeah.
Like Mihawk probably never actually made it to Wano. So his swords probably are not of that make and quality. So he's
Yeah.
probably going to view that as now it's serious, like a serious competition kind of thing.
Yeah.
We haven't seen some of the other warlords since they were disbanded, like Hancock. They have her. I mean, they have the blood of all the emperors, so it makes sense that they could have her fruit without actually having her in custody. But it's implied. Obviously, Mihawk got away when they tried to surround his island because now he formed that crew with Buggy, or like that thing with Buggy, and then you never really see the Amazonian island. But she's also good friends with Raleigh, who could probably body everyone in the Marines right now, on his own, because he's the Dark King. I also like the parallels that where they're leading up to this, because I saw someone in your chat at some point talking about how, let's be real, Zoro could beat anyone on the crew, probably even Luffy. I don't think so. I think Luffy would be able to beat him, especially as Nika.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what Zoro's using onto the sword won't cut him. The sword becomes rubber. The sword becomes whatever the fuck Luffy wants it to become. So I think that Zoro probably still could not beat Luffy, but he would obviously be the biggest competition for Luffy if they had to really fight. But it really does seem like they're leading up to Zoro is the Dark King of Luffy's crew. He has Conqueror's Haki. He is as feared or more feared, depending on how you view Luffy, than Luffy is.
Yeah.
Because Luffy's the lovable goofball, but Zoro's the one who takes the fight seriously, which is exactly like Raleigh did. Roger just wanted to fight fun enemies, and Raleigh was like, well, I guess I'll just kill everyone else then. You know? So I do like the direction that Luffy's crew is taking. I don't like Lucci being back. I don't like how Lucci and like the rest of CP9 somehow became CP0. 9 is so far from 0. They never moved up. Where was CP4?
Like Spandam?
Where was CP7?
Fuck that guy. Isn't he like the leader or something?
Which one?
The fucking dude with the elephant sword. The leader
where the
of
fuck is
9.
he?
Wasn't he the leader of 0 or something?
Probably not. Seems like Lucci just operates on his own, minus they directly report to the Celestial Dragons.
Yeah.
That is how they're similar to admirals. But there's also probably it's a whole team compared to 3 admirals, so you have to assume the admirals individually are stronger, I guess. Which means you have to assume some of the vice admirals are stronger because some of them have to be admiral level, but you don't need more than 3 admirals. You have some former admirals like Aokiji is a former admiral. Now he's part of Blackbeard's crew or whatever the fuck is going on with him. I am convinced, by the way, for Aokiji, that him and not Sengoku. I always forget this guy's name. The magma guy. Sakazuki?
Yeah.
I am convinced that they're not actually as unfriendly toward each other as they appear to be. And I'm convinced that the Punk Hazard fight, at the end of it, the resolution was who becomes Fleet Admiral and who becomes a spy taking down Blackbeard. So I think Aokiji lost the fight and left the Marines, but not really. I think that it's kind of like a sword operation where you have X Drake. He's really a Marine, but he's been a pirate his whole life.
Yeah.
You never assume that he was a part of the Marines, but he's working with them or for them, or he is a Marine himself. And he's working with Kobe, and he's working with probably Garp, and these other people who are supposed to be part of Sword. So I am convinced that Aokiji has not forsaken the Marine life. I think that he's just working from the inside to take down Blackbeard.
That'd be really cool. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other stuff is coming up. I mean, all this stuff with fucking Egghead Island is just an information overload.
I know. I feel like I need to like go on the wiki and just read a summary of Egghead Island when it's over, because
I definitely am gonna have to. Because I'm sure there's little pieces of each panel that I've missed where you can extrapolate things. I mean, you see the giant robot; it made it all the way to Mary Hoas based on some ancient energy, which who knows what the fuck it is. I'm hoping that Vegapunk gives us like a lot of answers. I don't even care if they're exposition at this point. The series has been going on for 25 years. I want some goddamn answers. I want to know where the devil fruits come from. Why is there only one of each type in the world at any given time? What is up with, now that we know the blood thing, it makes me think that that's how Blackbeard is taking these powers. He's doing blood transfusions, which is why he had to go under the sheet. While Whitebeard was still had the devil fruit energy within his blood, Blackbeard stole some of that and used it in himself. But would there be a time limit on that? Because obviously the blood constantly flows through the Seraphim.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way that human and biology works, you wouldn't think that he'd be able to keep that power indefinitely, but he has. He gives the powers to everyone else. But now it opens up. A lot of people assume that Blackbeard's crew, when they have someone else's power, they've been killing them. But now it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. Maybe they need them as prisoners
Yeah.
in order to keep using their powers. But how would they do that with Whitebeard? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense how they do it with Whitebeard. That's the only one where maybe it would be like a unique case because of Teach's atypical body type that allows him to like take all this damage, even though he's not a real Logia type.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I don't think the community's forgotten about, but Oda always has come through. Like he's never really forgotten something and then just totally retconned it out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how his plan goes, but I don't mind if we just get a bunch of expositional answers from Vegapunk at this point about a lot of these different things that he's just discovered over the years.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well. We are at about an hour, so maybe we go to One Punch Man for a quick.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a lot shorter, obviously, than One Piece. I just wanted to talk about One Punch Man because, and you're caught up on that one, right?
Yeah.
Because finally, I just want to say finally.
Finally, Garo's done.
No, not finally. Garo's done. Finally, these S rank bitches are like, holy shit, who's Saitama?
Oh yeah, that is true.
Like you have Metal Knight knows about him. Flashy Flash should have known about him, but was in denial. And Genos has explained it to him and someone else. Blast seems like he doesn't realize that Saitama is at that level, but like because they didn't know what the fuck happened when Garo and him were throwing the Earth off like its axis and shit like that. They were just in their pocket dimension looking at it. It's hard to know from that part because he totally rewrote one of the issues and changed it entirely, and that was one of them. It's hard to know exactly what Blast did or knows versus like what actually happened to the planet, because they were like showing like some in the first version they showed like the world got like was condensed or whatever, and they showed some dragon pillars or demon pillars, and they said, oh, the gate is weakening, and they had to run to fix it. And then they totally rewrote that issue. That didn't happen. And they were just going to like stop some weird energy thing. And then the god creature, this god being, and other people have seen the god being, like Blast saw the god being when he took down the head centipede guy. A lot of that stuff is kind of off the walls, and I don't really understand what's going on, but I know we're not meant to. And we're going to get the answers as time moves on. But I am just so happy that now, I think, I don't know exactly how many S rank people there are, but King counts, obviously. King and Fang count.
Isn't there like 17?
Yeah, so I think at least like about half of them know now that Saitama could absolutely fuck them up.
Yeah.
Metal Knight doesn't know that he could fuck him up, but he's like, I need to watch this dude because he totally took down my strongest security defense force without even blinking. They have all the monsters that the monster pits they fell into. I'm waiting for the moment that Tornado realizes that her powers just straight up don't work on Saitama because he's some crazy like being that no one can fathom. I thought it was going to happen, but then they broke it. They broke the fucking thing. Another Deus Ex Machina, and Saitama's not part of the fight.
I wonder if it's going to be something like Nika Nika Fruit with Saitama, where it's like, did he really just do squats and push-ups and become this strong? There's got to be something different about him.
I've been convinced for a while that he did like a monsterification, and he's basically some sort of monster god.
That'd be because
crazy. they throughout the series they sprinkle in how food. After he beats Crablante in the first episode, he's eating crab. When he takes out the monster with the seaweed hair, that's so tough that none of the he eats monster. Where did you find this? Oh, I just found it. Like he eats random shit. I would not be surprised if he ate monster cells at some point, or whatever the fuck the original monster cells were before Orochi was a thing.
That's in Tokyo Ghoul, a big thing is like it's very frowned upon in the ghoul community, but like ghoul cannibalism will power you up. So it could be something like that.
Frowned upon, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if this guy really has amnesia, and that's how they're kind of giving you the ghoul power-ups, he might just be eating every ghoul that he kills.
Yeah.
And he might just be getting crazy powered up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, One Punch Man, I'm just so happy that they're finally Saitama's no longer this big joke of the hero community. Now he's A rank.
Yeah.
I like how he won his
Which,
fight.
like, yeah, but it's like
And then
if half the S ranks know about him, how is he not like? How is he A rank still?
Yeah, why would he not just be promoted to S rank? I get maybe like they would think of him as like a secret weapon.
Yeah.
They send in this A rank, and whoever it is like, oh, I don't have to fight an S rank, and then tries to punch Saitama, and Saitama's like, hey, I'm trying to eat here, and then just backhands him into the moon.
Yeah.
You know, I could see them doing that.
I just hope he's
really
back because he was gone for a lot of the Garo arc.
Yeah. And now it looks like now he fell through that pit. I don't think that they're going to all of a sudden start focusing on Tatsumaki and Blizzard as main people for the
They might, because we got that flashback with what's her face,
Tatsumaki in the prison or whatever.
Yeah. What's her name?
Wait.
The girl, the other mage. Then we get a flashback.
Oh, you're talking about how Blizzard with their like society of supernatural people or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, they were the heads of that like organization of psychics that just were never as good as Tatsumaki, so they were all jealous.
Mm-hmm.
They could focus on Blizzard and maybe like some sort of growth. They already did that though. She already kind of grew during the monster arc and the Garo arc.
Yeah.
She started helping people. She started transferring her psychic energies into life-saving energies, things that she would have never done pre Saitama just basically telling her that she was being a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
So we already got that. I really hope that he doesn't just get Saitama out of the picture again for development sake. Saitama could just do other stuff. I don't care what he does. Just don't have him not as part of the manga for months at a time.
Oh no, apparently this is the web comic, I think.
I started to read that, but I never kept going with
it.
It's really bad art. It's so bad.
We're currently in the Neo Heroes saga. So we were in the Monster Association saga. Now we're in the Neo Heroes saga, and the first arc is called the Psychic Sisters arc. I don't know how long that is necessarily, but
I don't mind if they are like main characters where you see a lot of their point of view, but I just don't want Saitama to not be part of the issues for like months at a time.
Well, okay, so the webcomic, I don't know if the webcomic is usually like 1-to-1, one chapter of webcomic to one chapter of manga, but the webcomic was chapters 95 to 106, and the manga chapters are 171 to ongoing, with current out being 177. So it could end within the next couple, I could see.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that long. I mean, I think that the sizes of the releases, they're bigger for the manga compared to the webcomic, but also the manga, he extrapolates things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Monster and Garo arc, he changed a lot of stuff. He just straight up changed a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure in the webcomic, we've never seen Blast, because there were a lot of people saying how like they were disappointed if they were fans of both. They were disappointed that Blast was seen, because a big theory for the webcomic is that Blast doesn't exist, and Blast is just Saitama's reputation.
That'd be cool.
But then you have people like things where Blast fought this centipede creature, and I don't think that was different in the webcomic. That part I'm not sure on.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
But it's possible Saitama fought him when he was, before we've even started the series officially, like start point. He could have beat him when he was still up and coming. Maybe he still had hair.
Yeah, I guess that would be the whole like. I was gonna say, why wouldn't he have just like died? But I guess.
Why wouldn't the monster have died? I mean, the monster was really weakened and escaped. Saitama, he was still struggling against monsters early on when he first started getting strong. Because the first time he saves King, he still has hair and he's all bloodied up from fighting the whatever creature was attacking King. That gave him his scar over his eyes. But
it looks like you see Blast, but like very like he is like I'm on the Wikipedia. He has a picture under webcomic, but it's like black hair, just like darkened eyes. You don't even see his eyes. You can barely see his nose, his mouth. But it looks like he has speaking lines. So I don't know.
Maybe it's different then compared to. Maybe they showed him after the Garo arc then.
Yeah.
Because I remember.
Oh, it says webcomic debut chapter 106, but it was a flashback. So maybe The flashback could be wrong. I don't know.
And 106 was past the Garo arc because that's the Psychic Sisters arc. You said, right?
No, that was for the manga. Chapter 106 in the webcomic. Oh wait, no, that was also yeah. Past that. Yeah, chapter 106 was the end of the Psychic Sisters arc.
Yeah, and we know that Blast, from a flashback from Tatsumaki, Blast saves her from whatever imprisonment she was in, where they were experimenting on her psychic abilities and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of. I don't care how wild it gets in One Punch Man.
Yeah, again, it's supposed to be wild, so.
I'm just happy that Saitama is still steadily moving up. He's still just his same old, like, totally oblivious self. He doesn't think a second thought about these 3 A rank heroes being upset by his presence and challenging him to a duel. He doesn't care that the rhythm guy was probably about to get bodied the same way Ryu accidentally gets knocked into the stands in the fighting tournament and then thinks to himself, holy shit, this guy actually could have killed me.
Yeah.
Which I hope that I hope a lot of those people make comebacks. It's like the reverse of One Piece. When someone's beaten in One Piece, I don't want them to come back. In One Punch Man, I want them to come back. I want Saitama to just have this huge following of disciples that he doesn't want.
Mm-hmm.
And he has just all these people hanging onto his coattails, praying that he is there to save them if they ever get into a dire situation.
Yeah.
I would also love to see Ryu actually enter the Hero Association and like start at A rank or something and then just start following Saitama around.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I'm looking forward to One Punch Man. I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff that I assume is about to happen, and again, mostly it's because I forget what other heroes were at the meeting, but Flashy Flash, Genos, the head, one of the executives, and there was, I know, one other S rank hero, I just can't remember which one, was there. And when Genos explains that Saitama is actually the one who fought Garo and defeated God or whatever, like, exorcised God from that dude's body.
Yeah.
Metal Knight saw all the security footage. King is King. Bang, who I think retired, but is trying to train Garo as a replacement before he officially retires.
Yeah.
Knows about him. Garo. It's hard to know what Garo knows about Saitama anymore, also because of the way it was alternate. The weird timeline shit that happened.
Yeah.
It's hard to know exactly what he remembers and what he knows, and if he would recognize Saitama as someone who is going to absolutely crush him.
I also wonder if season 3 is going to completely finish this, because like if it goes like normal 12 episodes, 100% no. But now that Monster Association saga is done, I wonder if they go above 12 episodes.
I think they have to finish it,
yeah,
even if they have to cut some stuff out.
Man.
Well, but this one I feel like they have to finish it because season 2 was looked on poorly.
Yeah.
And a lot of the critique was Saitama's not in it enough for a series where he is One Punch Man. Like, they built up Garo in season 2, so I hope that we see the resolution of Garo. I mean, we definitely obviously get to the point where he monsterifies.
Yeah.
I can't see a stopping point where you stop and then it would pick up in season 4 where you conclude that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're gonna have to. I think what they would probably end up doing is do an about face and show a lot less of all these other random heroes. Don't show the muscle bodybuilder girl. Don't show Blackluster Alloy having his mental breakdown. Maybe you show a lot of all of the heroes' resolutions and those fights in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, condense that stuff down, way less exposition and backstory on them, and then maybe do whatever else you can do as supplementary material, the OVAs or whatever you can do, and make them and do them canon and say this is based on the manga. This is Blackluster Alloy's story. This is whoever else's story, My Mask's story, or whatever. And you just kind of show the actual battles. I don't know how well that would play though.
I'm even fine with them making it longer, just showing everything and.
Just make sure it does. Yeah, make sure you don't cut it off prematurely. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, so the manga really expanded on Psychic Girl's abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what her name is. Psychos, right?
Yeah.
They really expand on that fight. Like, that fight was like half of one webcomic issue, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I read, and it's like 5. It's more than one issue includes Tatsumaki fighting psychos, powered up psychos that merge with Orochi and stuff. So they have a lot of extra stuff in there compared to what the original author really intended. So they could.
Oh, wait, you're saying Orochi like the dude's name? I think you were saying something called Orochi, and I didn't know what you were talking about. You're talking like Orochi, like Orochimaru?
Yeah, but I think, don't they say Orochi? I feel like I've heard that in some anime.
I don't know. I've always said Orochi just literally because of Naruto.
I used to say Orochi because of that too, but I feel like I heard someone's. I feel like maybe it was even in season 2. The one-eyed monster that is like Psychos's whatever says, Monster King Orochi. Like maybe that's where I got it from. I don't know. Maybe I said it wrong. Let's just say Orochi to keep it consistent. But when she merged with him and stuff, all that, I don't think any of that stuff is in one's webcomic.
Yeah.
So they could do a side-by-side comparison and choose what
I would prefer to them leave to do on the manga, I think.
Well, the manga's is superior for sure. Yeah. I would like them to do the manga too. I would like them to pull more from the manga, but I think that if they're going to look for things to cut, they could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that you change Psychos because it looks like she's going to be a big part of now this next arc, maybe, or she has an impact to some extent. But I think you could definitely. I mean, you could probably cut out Atomic Samurai struggling so much with the splitting dude who's now following Saitama around hoping for protection.
Dumb, but we'll see.
Yeah, he was the weakest part. I like the dog.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Saitama adopted the dog. I don't like that Saitama is so stupid that he thinks this thing is a monkey.
Yeah.
And all the other heroes also think the same thing. I mean, what happens when Atomic Samurai sees him?
I know.
He's got to recognize him. So I don't know.
I think the best out of all those villains, because there was like 7 fights going on at once of like the top Monster Association people with that dude, and I forget all of them. I think the best one though was the homeless dude.
Yeah, the guy with the light powers.
Yeah, against Zombie Man.
Against Zombie Man, cool. Yeah. Well, he's definitely going to stay in because he's the first introduction to God.
Yeah.
He's the one who's talking directly to God as sees him stand on the moon or whatever you see as he's, like being turned into dust or something.
Yeah.
Which is what leads into Garou kind of being the next chosen one of God or something. So I don't think that they would get rid of his fight.
Yeah.
Zombie Man also is already kind of built up in the anime. They showed his like side story of going and finding his old creator, the guy from the House of Evolution, and the ape, the cyborg gorilla. So Zombie Man, I think, gets the full story treatment. But some of these other ones where they're just kind of go into it out of nowhere. I mean, Blackluster Alloy, I feel like was one of the weaker ones. I don't like him as a hero. He just has a lot of muscle.
Who did he fight? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either. I don't remember.
Hang on. I have a list of everyone. So what's his face fought? Black Sperm was Atomic Samurai. Führer Ugly was a My Mask, I think.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing that one because it's funny to see a My Mask crumble in the face of Ugly.
Who was Evil Natural Water fighting? It was that. I remember it being the water, but I don't remember who.
That was Child Emperor, I think.
Oh, okay.
And the Child Emperor can't really handle it.
And then he got eaten by Pig God.
Yeah. No. No, the water didn't. The water was taken out by Saitama, and everyone's like, where the fuck did the water go? The other thing was taken out by Pig God, I think.
No, this wiki says eventually evil natural water was digested by him, signifying
his permanent death. Maybe I'm thinking of something. Oh, I'm thinking of something totally different. When the ocean rises up and Garou.
Oh, yeah.
He's like flying over it. I think Saitama takes out the ocean. And people don't really.
The Gums thing fought Pig God. So what the fuck did Blackluster Alloy fight?
Maybe he didn't fight anything. He was just having an emotional crisis. But that's like something that I feel like you can leave out.
Yeah.
Another one is oh my god, what was I just thinking you could leave out?
What about those? I mean, I don't think anything should be cut, but if you need to cut, you could probably cut the shit happening above ground with like those weaker heroes.
Yeah.
Metal Bat shows up there.
Yeah, from the hospital. But Metal Bat's like probably a fan favorite character, so I don't think they'd cut
good.
anything with him. You definitely would end up showing the 2 ninja, monster-fied ninja, because Flashy Flash like bodies them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess there's not really that much that they would be able to cut and keep things on track. I mean, you could almost cut the blast introduction because it's just so fucking confusing. What is this?
Yeah, it depends the route that they want to go in the manga.
I mean, what's this weird interdimensional baby? There's no explanation about it, and then Blast teleports away.
But I don't know. I think it's meant to be confusing.
Yeah, yeah. There's things that we're not meant to know yet, and we're gonna find out over time. But I feel like you can intro that later. You could even intro it as a flashback where they show Flashy Flash and Saitama running into him. But maybe if you do want to leave Blast as a little bit more of a mystery, in the anime, you can wait to debut him. Especially if they're gonna break it up and show the Garo resolution at the end, because you have to see him fight Blast. So you could wait until season 4 to show that, and then show a flashback of Saitama and him running into, like, maybe Saitama sees him from a distance and goes, "Oh, it's that dude," and then the flashback.
Yeah.
To that. I don't know. But I think One Punch Man is going in all good directions.
Yeah.
I don't have very many complaints about it.
Me too.
Compared to Lucci in One Piece.
But yeah, I guess we're at 120. We can end it off there. I hear my dog.
I know, another long one.
She wants to eat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. You didn't hear it here first. You didn't hear it here last. You heard it here. ... Pause ... Eventually.